It's fine.
No, we're live now at the moment. So, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for taking part in this afternoon's live Q&A on one of our most popular programs in the J. Cairns School of Business and Economics at the National University of Ireland in Galway. That is our Masters in Business Analytics. So it's a very popular program over the last number of years. We've had over 600 applications each year on this program. So congratulations to you all on being offer holders and securing your place on the program. So we're joined here today with Dr. Dennis Dennehy, the program director, Pamela Devins from the Career Development Centre, and one of our current students, Siddhant from India, who's going to share their experience with you on the programme. And we'll have two further students joining us in the second half. So over to you, Dennis, if you want to give a brief outline of the programme.
Okay. I suppose making the transition from undergrad studies to master's level is a big transition for every student. It doesn't matter what nationality you come from or what your previous experience has been. So to give you some context of what a master's program is like in UIG, we have credits, and there are 90 credits. So with the Masters, we have a number of modules. Most of them are 5-credit modules. It involves 12 weeks of lectures, assignments, group work, and so on. And within that 90 credits, you have the capstone project. So that's the major project, and that's for 20 credits. Okay, so you're looking between 400 and 500 hours of work just for the capstone project alone, which will kick off in December and bring you right through to the end of June. Okay. In addition, then you have a 10-credit module for the SAP, because I have some questions coming in from you already. That is a self-directed module. We don't have formal lectures because it's all done online through the SAP portal. There is a reflected journal that we do assess you on as well. But there's support for you this year. We do have tutorials for students. I know a number of the applications this year you're coming through from IT, engineering, commerce, business background, arts, for example. So a huge diversity of students, and this is what we enjoy. Diversity in the classroom is very important. You all bring your own unique strengths and areas that will challenge you as well. Okay, and this is the Masters. We will help you to complete the Masters to the best of your abilities. But also we do have a standard that we need to maintain, because we're building a reputation with companies throughout Ireland and overseas that the graduates coming through our program are high caliber professional students who are hungry to establish themselves in this area of business analytics. The course is demanding. It's 90 credits. There is no place to hide. Essentially, you'll do 6 modules in term 1, 6 modules in term 2, and over the 2 terms, then you'll have your capstone project and your SAP module. Assessment is varied, so you'll have individual assignments, you'll have group assignments, you'll have end-of-term exams for a number of modules, you'll have group presentations, reports to develop, programs, scripting to write and submit. So a huge mix. So it's going to build on all your strengths and also then help you develop in other areas. We don't expect you to be an expert in every module. So you have students coming from engineering, might be very strong in programming, but they may struggle with the business subjects, and vice versa. We have students coming through who've done business as their undergrad, and they might struggle for a while with programming. But we do have support built into each module. We do have dedicated tutorials, which are small groups that happen offline outside the lecture schedule itself. And that's it really in a nutshell for now anyway. So. And
I think that's been really important over the years is the experience and the support on this program in particular. It's an award-winning program, and I just actually today received another award for inclusive teaching. So it's a fantastic program, and as I said, in demand, very popular, and I suppose very high in demand in terms of employers as well, Pamela, for graduate roles, and in terms of first destination reports, it's been very successful in recent years, hasn't it?
Yes. As Aisling introduced me, my name is Pamela Devins, and I'm the Careers Advisor for the Business School. So I would be supporting all postgraduate students in the Business School, including yourselves, and the Career Development Centre run a lot of employer workshops, and there'll be a careers fair starting in October with 120 employers. And it takes a little bit of time to get up to speed with how graduate recruitment works in Ireland. So we'll have a number of events laid on for postgraduate students when you join. So we'll be meeting you, the Career Development Centre will be meeting with you at orientation. We'll also be having a workshop in week 1 on explaining how to navigate graduate recruitment in Ireland. There would be some similarities to home countries, but there are also some differences in timelines. And the Career Development Centre will advise you on what the best approach is for your job search. And as Aisling just mentioned, this course has a really good record in terms of being in demand from employers, and the Career Development Centre and the director, Dennis, will be able to provide you with details of where past graduates have gone, and the graduates from this course are very much in demand. Do you want to maybe mention anything else?
Yeah, so there's a few questions that come in during the week about the level of experience you have to get a job and so on. So on the website, you'll see all information about each module. We also, where graduates from last year have gone to, we call it the First Destinations Report. And from that, you can see the salary ranges for graduates. Usually those with no experience whatsoever will start on salaries from 29,000 to 30,000. And those with more experience then would be in the 50 to 60,000 range. That's not including them bonuses and pensions and everything else. So graduates from the program get well looked after by the employers. Each year we're seeing students being a lot more progressive and very proactive in securing jobs that they're finding companies that we never even heard about ourselves, all over the country, not just in Ireland, but also in Germany. We had 2 students went to Germany last year, San Francisco in the US. So you have to be really hungry and really kind of don't underestimate how hard it is to write a very professional CV.
And maybe the Career Development Centre have a very comprehensive program of events for all students, where we offer interactive CV workshops and interview skills workshops, and some very targeted LinkedIn workshops as well to support you in your job search. The overall aim of the Career Development Centre is to connect students with employers, and students, as Dennis said, need to be very proactive in terms of what they want, in terms of their career goals, but there are a huge amount of supports to enable that to happen, and the Career Development Centre are, I suppose, the bridge between students and employers in that regard.
Yeah, and regarding the CV, the major thing that most of the students actually miss out doing, like from day one, they start enjoying the college, they start going around, going to events, that's fine, but you have to start building up your CV and LinkedIn from day one. That I did, and that helped me get my job even before my finals exam started. So the thing is that you have to start your CV building from day one you reach here. And for people who are like in between the range of 0 to 3 years of experience, they should complete their CV by the end of September and start applying for all the graduate roles by the end of December. That's very important if you are a fresher and you are in the starting experience range of 0 to 2. It doesn't say, like, you can, if you are more than experienced than 2 years, like 2 to 5 years experience, you should still apply for the graduate roles, but the entry level roles and salaries will be lesser for you. So I also did for that. I got into few of the interviews, but generally when you are experienced, they don't tend to take you, but you will get an experience of how Irish interviews go on. So it's best when you reach, first thing you do is, apart from what you enjoy in college, learning things, you should start working on your CV and LinkedIn from day one.
And was that employability factor one of your decision-making factors then, Siddhant, when you were back home trying to choose where to go for your master's? Was that something really important for you?
Yeah, so the major thing, like when I was planning for my master, I've been planning it for the last 3 years. So I was aiming for US earlier, but the problem with US comes up is the visa factor. That visa is not easy to get now, and employers are reluctant. But in Ireland, there is a possibility where you don't actually need an employer to sponsor your visa. You get it for 2 years without any conditions. So that is very best part of Ireland. And then when you come here, you apply for jobs. You don't have to tell an employer to give you a support. And the other part is that like if you want to sponsor your own visa, that is also a possibility where you can pay that visa amount and employers can support you. So there is no bond or there is no restrictions on how your visa is processed. Very easy and very smooth process. So that was one of the main reasons to come to Ireland. Apart from choosing US, which is another increasing destination for students, but the visa is a big problem for them.
Yeah, the stay back is really
Yeah.
popular, really important in the decision-making factor. So I just see one of the questions here. What percentage of business analytics batch have been placed so far, and how many of them are working in business analytics?
Okay, so I do know that at least 50% of this year's group have employment.
And they've just finished.
And they've just finished. They started getting job offers since January. So just to give you some more context. So last year's group, 95% had jobs within 4 months of finishing the program. And they were getting very good professional jobs across all industries, public, private, not-for-profit, large companies, multinationals, startup companies, for example, spin-out companies on campus. So there's huge opportunities. You just need to be very open-minded, be very smart in how you approach the companies, and build a professional presence online. So being very active on Twitter, being very active on LinkedIn, showing employers evidence that you can integrate quickly into small team environments. And how you do that is you get involved in clubs, societies, competitions on campus, and because employers appreciate this, it demonstrates that you've got initiative, you're innovative, you're a creative thinker, you've got leadership qualities. I noticed that you were very active this year.
So if I would like to tell like what I did apart from the course, I was the auditor for International Student Society. I was working for Career Development Center as a photographer. I was working with Wayfair, the current company that I'm working. I was interning with them. At the same time, I was also a photographer for a pub in Galway. And then I was entrepreneur teacher, like kind of thing for Blackstone Launchpad. I did it for Bank of Ireland as well, and then I won back-to-back to entrepreneurial competition. So I was involved in everything and whatever I could get my hands on. So it is like you have to be proactive. Either you can sleep off or stay at home every day, or you can just go out there and explore your opportunities. From day one I reached, the first thing I did is going around the college and finding out what are the things available, like Blackstone Launchpad. People who have still passed out might not know about it. Most of people are not aware of it, but I was there to know what opportunities it has and how it can help me. So you have to be proactive and go to every place. I remember going to Pamela directly and asking if they have a photographer opportunity, and they were not actually looking for one, but she was generous enough. Yeah, she was generous enough to provide me with an opportunity, and I started photographing. So it's like you can even follow your passion with your course, and that actually matters. And when you have an Irish experience, so people here, many students from business analytics have asked me that. Can I do a part-time? So the part-time, I won't suggest you working on like maybe going on Supermax, McD, those kind of things I won't suggest personally. I believe that you should work towards your passion and towards the course related work. Like you should go to do maybe some business analytics related work or maybe something on the campus that helps you build your profile a lot. And in that way, you can show that you have Irish experience and you have amalgamated with people around here, and that actually is liked by the employers.
Just also to say, there are really good employment rates and really good companies looking for graduates of this course. But as Sedan just said, you do have to be proactive, and employers really want to see that drive and that motivation, and that's something that you would need to be aware of. Just to also say that for all incoming students, international students in particular, there will be a Blackboard module to familiarise yourself with navigating graduate recruitment in Ireland. That will be up there from day one, and really proactive students will familiarise themselves with all of those points to be able to capitalise on the opportunities that are available. And the timelines are quite tight in terms of graduate recruitment deadlines. As Sedan said, many of the deadlines for graduate programs, which are a 2-year, potentially a 2-year contract for those of you who maybe have are typically freshers with less experience, those deadlines are quite soon after you arrive. And then there will be other opportunities, as Jenna said, kind of from January onwards, kind of getting closer to the end of your studies for graduate roles. So there's a number of different opportunities available.
Yeah, and even increasingly, we're finding companies are actually ringing us directly, looking for graduates from the program. And you need to be ready for these opportunities. We've often got phone calls on a Wednesday afternoon to shortlist a number of graduates and send on their CVs by lunchtime Friday. That's not unusual. Companies come back more and more to taking graduates. Even last month, there was an analyst role in Dublin. They received 190 CVs. They shortlisted, I think it was 6, and the top 2 were actually students from this program. A student from last year and a student on the program this year. And the company told me this, and they're very impressed with the caliber of students. That'll give you the context of you're competing not just against your peers, but other universities in Ireland and actually in Europe. So you do need to be very proactive and really be professional from day one. And Sedant is a great example of somebody who can do this very well.
And it's all there, all the supports are there. When we hold international orientation the Thursday before classes starts, this year it's September the 5th, and it's a full day international orientation to help students with opening a bank account, GNIB, support services on campus, Blackboard, Career Development Centre. We show you sports and clubs, everything is there. We show you all of this is available. There's a full calendar of activities really in the Career Development Centre alone. You could be going to something every day. So it's up to the student then to make the most of their time. It's only a 1-year programme. So all the opportunities are there on campus for you. And the best students, the most proactive students recognise this. And they see, okay, how will I differentiate myself when I go into an interview that's so competitive? So they join, as Sedant has done and as our other students. You're very clever students if you've managed to get an offer on the programme. So they make the most of their time while they're here and make the most of the connections and the opportunities on campus. So do you want to tell us any more about your experience, Sedant, before we move over?
Yeah, so my experience when I started here, my first thing was I'm a 5 years experience guy and I was coming back to studies. And this might be the case with many of the students coming in this year as well. So don't be afraid about it. It's very easy to gel up and actually start your course. There are a good number of support available from teachers and around the campus. There is all kind of support available online as well on NUIG website. So you can always go to those resources, learn from them, and actually build yourself. And you don't have to worry about how the studies will go. Specifically, business analytics course that is NUIG, it gives you enough time for your self-development and self-work as well. It's nothing like you are doing all the time assignments, you are doing all the time studies, and it's not just work. It's like work and play. You have to merge it together. You have to make time for everything. So it's like you in a day you have at most, I guess, 4 hours of class, and after that you're free mostly. So you should utilize that time to do your assignments in the college time, and then you can rest of the day you can work on your CV, work on your skills and everything. So that's what I did, and it was very easy for me to grab a job in business analytics world. So the point is that when you are trying to shift from your career from one section to another section, you have to actually work towards it. It won't come on a silver platter to you, okay, come and join this, you have done this course and you will be getting a job. And the other thing is that the question that said that how many have got into business analytics, it depends if the person wants to go into business analytics. It's a personal choice. It's nothing like after the course a person would want to go into business analytics. They might go back to what they were doing earlier. So it depends on person to person. So if you want to go into business analytics, you have to wait, you have to find the right opportunity, right company for you, and then go into it. So it's all different from person to person. So I think my experience has been very great throughout the college, and I am still connected with college after it's finished. And I hope to meet you all when you are here and maybe guide you with anything else you want.
Thanks, Sedant. And maybe just go back to you then, Pamela, about the services provided by the Career Development Centre in terms of that calendar of activities and how busy you guys are. Is there a sense of how many people would you deal with? How many appointments on an annual basis would you guys see on a one-to-one basis?
Okay, so the Career Development Centre would have about 100 appointments on offer each week during term. And in those appointments, the careers advisors would review your CV and give you some pointers so that you can make improvements and, you know, put a really good foot forward in terms of presenting yourself to employers. So there's 100 appointments there, and we'll take each person. You might be looking for career guidance, you might be looking for CV, interview, application support, and that's what we're here for. And of course, we're the key point for connecting you with employers. So as Ashley mentioned, we have a program of events that we're currently working on, and usually there are 3 or 4 workshops and employer events per week. And so each person gets to determine what they're interested in, what they'd like to avail of. And there's something for everyone. But again, as Sedant and Dennis have said, it's up to each individual to engage and plot, our tagline for this semester is create your future. We kind of have all of the support there to enable our postgraduate students like yourselves to be able to do that.
This year, do we have the employability award as well?
Yes?
Yeah, so that is one of the programs I think is very beneficial. Last year, only 2 of the students from the batch actually did it and completed it. So it's actually very good to go into that program because throughout the year it helps you build your knowledge of how interviews are done in Ireland. So I think that students who come in should enroll for that and then actually complete it at the end, because you receive a certificate that mentions you are employable, like you are employable in Ireland, and it goes through different range of sessions through it. So that certificate is actually beneficial for you to get employment.
And all of the information around the events, our schedule, our supports, and our services will take you through those in detail at the orientation, and build on that in further sessions in weeks 1 and weeks 2, because we appreciate that it's a lot of information to get at one time. So we give you the information as and when you need it, as you begin to kind of immerse yourself in your new course.
And that's one thing that's common across the programme and in the Career Development Centre, common in Ireland. We're continuously improving, continuously innovating. So the Employability Award is something new, and then this year we have the new workshops at the Career Development Centre coming into the school to speak to the non-EU international students around navigating the graduate recruitment in Ireland, to help you guys with the skills. So that's going to be a new initiative from this September. So it's fantastic to see that you're always innovating in the Career Development Centre, and same on the programme. Hence why the programme has been shortlisted for the best business programme in the country twice. So, and it's only, how old, 4 years old?
It's going to 50 years.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to cover in terms, before you go, Sedant, perhaps about the actual programme and the classes, how it differs from back home, or in terms of the content?
Yeah, so the content is actually very high level from what we were doing back in like engineering days. So I did my bachelor's in engineering. So it's not like spoon fed like back in India, where we used to given everything on a plate. Okay, this question will come. This is the answer. You have to write like that. That won't be the case. You have to research. You have to learn, and you have to do your own bit of studies apart from what is done in classes. So teachers are always approachable after the class to help you out with all your doubts and everything. There are different tutorials. You can ask your CR class reps to actually have separate tutorials for people who are not understanding some concepts. So that can be also arranged. So it is something that you have to proactively ask for. It is nothing like someone will know from your faces, okay, you are not understanding something. It's very difficult because it's a 100 people class, and the teacher can't actually go to each one and see, okay, what they are doing. You have to actually go to them. You have to ask them, okay, this is the problem I'm facing. How can I get help from? And Dennis is always available there. Apart, if you are having some problems with any teachers or they're not approachable or something, Dennis is always there to support you. He's always approachable. So you should take advantage of these things and always learn, because the thing is that if you are not using this and just scribbling about that, I'm not getting to learn anything, I'm not doing, this is your own mistake. It's nothing to do with the course or with the teachers. It's something that you have to own yourself. So that was not the case in engineering where teachers were behind you. Here it will be the case where you have to work towards your development.
Okay, so thank you to Siddhant and to Pamela, and now we'll swap over as we have two other students that are going to join us and share their experience. So
Thanks,
Thank you.
Siddhant. Thank you, Siddhant. So welcome, ladies, and if you want to take a seat and perhaps just introduce yourselves and if you want to and share your experience.
Hi, I'm a business analytics student here from India, and as my experience, like I've been offered a business intelligence specialist role here, and basically I don't have any experience in business analysis or any programming experience. Back in India, I worked in testing sector, like completely non-programming one, and I am a engineering background. And then that's it about me.
Thanks, okay.
Hi, my name is Jumoke, and I'm actually a national student. So I did an undergrad in information system in Galway, and then I came into this master's, the business analytics master's. For me, I didn't have experience in the field, so it was kind of it wasn't challenging, but it was kind of different. But I learned a lot, and even now going back through trying to develop my skills to focus in the direction that I want to go to, I'm finding that a lot of the materials that were mentioned in lectures are actually very useful now, and even like some of the languages such as SQL, C#, Tableau. I'm finding them that all the notes that were given and all the documentation that were given are actually really helpful. So like from my own experience, it was really good. I learned so much, and it's only now that I'm reflecting that I'm like, oh my goodness, there was so much that that was given, and I'm just utilizing all the materials that were given during the year.
That's great, and that actually leads me into one of the questions that came through. What are the programming languages used? Request to mention each and every tool and the technologies used. I don't know, Dennis, do you want to cover that?
We've made some changes for the next year. We're bringing Python, that's the new module that we deliver in term 2. We will keep on teaching R and also C#. So we're going to drop Java. So you see on the website at the moment, still Java, that's going to be dropped and replaced with Python. So the assessments for these modules, they change every year. It depends on the lecturer. So in September, you'll know the changes that we make at the module level. But yeah, the new module this year is Python. We changed the module from last year, which was SAP Business Warehouse. We changed that to SAP HANA, which is in huge demand in the industry as well. So we're changing the program every year to meet the needs of students, but also of employers. And your feedback is very important, so that's why we do engage with students all throughout the year. But also to understand any problems that you're having as a class or as an individual. We have an open door policy for you to engage with us. I think one of the biggest challenges for international students is to adjust to the informal culture that we have in the business school. So we don't use formal titles like doctor or professor as first name basis. So if you're still using doctor or professor in term 2, it means you haven't really integrated, and your employers pick up that very quickly. So that's why you need to adapt very quickly to the Irish way of working, Irish way of thinking, and also the Irish way of studying and assessment. I'm sure you found the assessments quite varied, quite challenging maybe, but you get feedback along the way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think the assessments are a direct reflection of what you would probably be facing in the industry, because it allows you to critically think about a situation and come up with a solution. So I think it is, if you do immerse yourself, I think it will be worth your while.
And I would like to add there are people who doesn't even have any programming experience or anything in this field, and I would actually suggest those students that just go through a little bit about programming language that you're going to be studying here, and not just come here just fresh and just struggle like I did here. Like I came here without even knowing any programming language. So like I came, and then I do manage to score well in the exams with all our assignments going on here. So there are lecturers who will help you with all your assignments. In case if you don't know anything, you can Just actively ask the people who are around you, and also that your tutorials that you're put into, you're not actually put into a whole class here. You'll be like separated into different groups, and you'll be given many instructions, and as well, and also it like the people said earlier, it's you who should go approach this professors and the people around you for your help. Nobody's gonna come and help you here. And back in India, I know that teachers are like not friendly, and you'll be like very scared of people and just go approach them. But here, all your lectures are very friendly. You can just approach them no matter what your problem is. Just they'll help you out with everything.
Great, and just come back to what you were saying there, because people have been asking, are the modules and is the content taught from scratch? So one question is, being a student with no IT background, is there anything that we should learn or brush up on before we arrive for the course? Is there anything you recommend them covering?
It depends. Some students do go online, they might do a short online course, but you're not required to. We understand we have students coming from undergrad programs here directly onto the program. They've never written a line of code in their life, but the support is there to help you get up to speed very quickly on all of our modules, not just the technical one, but also the business subjects too. So I suppose if you are looking at information online, that's something you will be doing even after you graduate, because you need to continuously get up to speed and up to date on what's happening in industry. So that's why it's so important to be online, what's happening on Twitter and LinkedIn and so on. Like once you arrive, we will help you with, for example, Tableau. We have a good relationship with Tableau. They'll be coming in November to do a workshop with you. We have the Analytics Society, where we have industry speakers coming in, again, talking to you about what does it look like in the industry? What does a graduate actually do in the real world? So we're very closely aligned with that as well. So throughout the whole year, you will be very well exposed to all aspects of thinking like a data scientist with Bill Schmarzer, for example. Graduates coming back to the program will talk to you. Some of them will be tutoring you this year. I know there's a question here about paid work while doing the master's program. So we do have some roles for tutoring for undergrad and across both programs. But during the program induction, I'll talk to you more about that. So there are a few opportunities. But as Siddhant said, there are jobs across the campus and outside the industry as well. And to be honest, a lot of the employers we have, they're old school. And when I say old school, they're coming from a generation where they appreciate people with a strong work ethic. So if you have to work in a job that may not be aligned to your career, they will still appreciate that you have the work ethic to actually continue your studies, take a part-time job to fund your studies, and that's the quality they're looking for in our graduates, not so much the job that you did while you were in college.
And just to add to that, international students, you're allowed to work 20 hours a week during term time and 40 hours are full-time out of term, so at Christmas and then again during summer holidays. So that's there for a reason, so that you don't spend too much time away from your studies, and that you really should be concentrating on your studies during term to ensure that you meet your end goal by passing and hopefully getting a first or doing well in your masters. But the opportunities are there, and it does help if you get something that's applicable to your area of interest. Another question coming in is, how does a typical day of an MS in Business Analytics students look like in terms of the class taken in a week? I don't know, do we want to talk about the typical day or schedule?
So we will be given like 4 hours just in a day, like in a week. Every day you'll have lectures in like 4 hours in a day, but that's all about it. And there are classes which is like 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening and in the afternoon, but nothing beyond like 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Like everything wraps up between 6. So
yeah, and just to add to maybe that, Java, up on the website at the moment, you'll see the timetable from this year for term 1. And that just has the lecture hours. Okay, so all lectures are done Monday to Friday between 9 and 6. And then when we run tutorials, they may run in the evening time, maybe from 6 to 8. It depends on the subject and the demand for the tutorials as well. In addition, then the question came through was, where can we study on campus and within the business school? So we have a dedicated lab for the BA students. We also have 2 state-of-the-art study areas that are now actually up and running, and a number of breakout areas where students can actually work in groups to do their group assignments, prepare presentations, for example, do mock interviews even. So there's plenty of space on campus within the business school for you to study individually, but also in groups. Maybe your own experience of the workload?
Yeah, so the workload is it's balanced. I think it's so like you get like individual assignments and also you get group assignments. So and like usually they give you like maybe 10 days to complete them. It just depends on the module itself. But I think it's manageable. Like Sudan already said, it's just about managing your time and also just focusing, making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do to get you to where you want to go. I guess. Yeah.
To add to that, there are like people in India. I know there are people who has a mindset that they can come here, work here, and as a part time and all. But make sure that you don't miss your class here, because in my batch, I personally saw that many people have missed out their class and they don't give attendance and they just go do their part time over there. But personally, I would say that don't do that, because you will have marks for your attendance as well. That's one of the things that will boost your score in your exams. So that's one thing if you're gonna work here at part time.
And talking about working, because during the first part we were talking about employability and the interview process here. So if you want to share your own experience of where you are in that journey, or perhaps a friend's experience, or about how people are doing from the program, what types of jobs are getting offered jobs in.
Talk about this. I actually have a very rough path in this. Like I've been applying for so many companies. Back in India, I worked in testing, like that's a service-based IT company. So that's a multinational company as well. But with that experience, I can actually apply for the experience role at here as well. But here right now, I'm in a business analytics course, but I wanted to go inside that role particularly. I don't have any experience in that sector especially, and then so I had to build my CV. I visited Career Development Center like 3 or 4 times. Like you can actually visit them twice in a month, I guess. Like you can visit them. They'll give you time, a specific time. They'll correct your CV and they'll help you build all your CVs and things, and then apply for your jobs and keep building your CVs every time. Just recreating every time, not just apply with one CV for many companies. Just look at the company descriptions and like modify your CV based on that, and then apply for the role. In case if you're not getting into any company, just don't give up your hope. Just keep applying, and that's what I would say. And in the end, your hard work actually pays. And also, like Siddhant said here, like, you will have to be very proactive and like participating in all the things, and also approaching your lecturers for all your opportunities, because even your lecturers will have something in mind for you in case if you don't have anything that goes around for you and well. So and also your projects, do your projects really well. In case if you wanted to do your projects in any data set, that's fine, because you're going to be doing a project, final year project with any data set here in this course. But if you want to do anything, any project with any data set, then that's fine. In case if you want to do a project in any specific industry, there are lecturers who will help you get into that industry, help you get you into that industry. Because I did my final this project in an industry over here. We got like a lot of experience, and through that I'll be like that I've got a lot of exposure for that with that data set and things around the company that's been happening. And with that experience, I do have like, because I've shown them what I could do in that complete project. So and I have an evidence that I did that in the company over here, and I proved my business analysis skills in that project. So I've been offered a role for that, actually, not exactly from the company, but because of with that evidence, I have other job opportunities as well. So it's all up to you how you want to utilize your role there.
And when I'm on the stand internationally talking to students, I describe it as the university opens the first door for you by introducing you like that through your projects to employers, or through the Career Development Centre to our industry partners. And then the government of Ireland opened the second door by having the stay back. So it's up to the student really to make a good impression while they have that exposure to the employers. Ireland is at full employment, so we have a very, very small population in the whole country. It's 5 million people. So, but there's a huge amount, there's more foreign direct investment in Ireland than any of the BRIC countries combined. So a huge amount of multinationals have their European headquarters here, and they need staff, and we don't have the population. So clever students see the opportunities that we present to them, make a good impression, work hard, and then the jobs are there. So it's really important that people realise, you're coming here for 1 year studies, but there's so many opportunities from that, from either the projects or from the Career Development Centre, or just all the events throughout the year while you're here. Let me see, is there any other? I think we've covered most of the questions. If there's anything else coming in, are there any specific technical requirements for laptops that students should be aware of?
Most students use a Windows operating system. It's just more compatible with a lot of the software that they can download. They get trial versions, for example, of certain software that they actually install very quickly. Particularly with the SAP module, it's more compatible with Windows. If you're using a Mac, it's very problematic. We do have a dedicated lab with PCs if you need to use those machines, but the majority of students coming into the program actually have their own laptops. If you have a Mac, you don't need to go off and buy a new laptop, use that, but we'll help you to actually get set up with the SAP module here in the lab. So that's really the only thing you need to be aware of.
Okay, and how are the students assessed at the end of each semester? So did it vary from what you were used to back home, or in terms of continuous assessment and then final exam, or did you find the assessment different?
Back in India, we don't have much assignment systems and all, but here, we have all different approach here. So talking about that, assignments are you mean the assessment at the end of the semester exams, you mean?
Yeah, both. Both, yeah. During the year, the assignments and continuous assessment on some modules, and others then with just the final year exam. How does that compare, or was there much transition to get used to the different type of an assessment?
No, actually, you need to give importance for all your assignments from the beginning till the end of the assignments, and your assignments are grouped in based on your difficulties. First initial assignments will be very easy, and then moderate difficulties and things, and then the assignment goes on. You do have continuous assignment, and also in the end of the assessment, your assignment marks will also be added to that assessment exam. So that is one thing, and also for the study materials and things, you will have all your study materials given to you mostly, whatever you need to refer, and what are the things you need to, what are the topics you need to cover for your exams and things and all. So you do utilize all your things in Blackboard that's been given to you, and also in everyday lectures will give you these are the topics that those are very important in the very important for your assessment and things. So that's you'll know only when you attend your classes every day. So that's one thing. So.
Okay, great. And there's some questions coming in around accommodation. So I suppose accommodation is difficult to source throughout Ireland at the moment, but not so bad in Galway compared to other cities. But the main resource we'd recommend for all incoming students to check is the accommodation office. So on the university website, there's an accommodation office, and they list the 11 different official NUI Galway student residences, and also the alternative options. So some students stay on campus and in the student residences. Others use online forums like StudentPad, Facebook groups like House Hunting for Sound People. A lot of students through the International Office Facebook group, and the students coming from India in particular have their own Facebook group. The outgoing students will say, okay, here's a picture of the room that I was in this year, and I'll hand over the lease to you and you take it over, and so on. So we definitely recommend going through the official resource site, the NUI Galway accommodation office rather than, and you can book your accommodation from afar. That's one thing that we discussed earlier, that students aren't aware that they can do that. They think that they have to arrive here and physically see it before they put down a deposit. We wouldn't advise putting down a deposit with anyone other than the NUI Galway official accommodation office. It has happened in the past where transactions online turn out to be bogus, but the official NUI Galway accommodation office is fine. And that's how most people source their accommodation. It is difficult in the first few weeks because everyone is looking, so some people, we advise them to come mid-August. Orientation is, as I said, the 5th of, Thursday the 5th of September, where class is starting on the following Monday. So if you're here mid-August, the end of August, settle in, get used to the city, get used to the climate, get used to the sourcing your accommodation, and get used to the campus. And then you're in the best place to start from the start, 100% committed to the programme, that you don't have to waste any time sourcing accommodation and missing classes. But a lot of people house share and find accommodation on rent.ie or daft.ie. It's all listed on the accommodation office website. So I don't know if there's anything you want to share in your experience in terms of sourcing accommodation.
In accommodation, we do have a accommodation office at the university. They do help in on campus and off campus as well. When I came here, I didn't know that they would help for off campus accommodation as well. I came really late and I didn't get any accommodation near the university, but I went to the accommodation office and told them that I don't want to stay on campus, and then they were giving me landlord's number to call them, and then I was given 2-3 views, and then one I've chosen one. And also on this process I've faced one scam incident as well. That's before even I approached university accommodation office, I searched accommodation myself, and I sent an email to many landlords from India. And also after coming here, I've been sending emails to landlords, and I do get many replies. But in one of the reply I got from a person called I don't remember the name exactly, but the person mentioned that he's a deputy manager of Linguist Lens here in Ireland, but he cannot come show the house right now. But he'll be coming. His assistant will be coming and show me the house, and then he want me to pay the money right away at that time. I was going to pay right away, but my card got declined, and then when we tried asking our friends about this thing and asked them to share the money for us, and they were thought that this is not actually a good approach. So just search his name in Facebook or Google, anything, anyway, just find something about him because he's a manager and something has to be about him. So we searched, and the first thing that came was that's a accommodation scam. So I do suggest that do not share your money until you see the house in your own eyes. Do not share your money and don't actually get scammed in this process as well. You will actually get accommodation, but be patient and not share your money like that.
Exactly, it's good advice. Another question coming in: what are the non-technical skills that students develop? So I know you have a module around strategy, and there are a number of other modules. You want to explain how that came about with the analytics department in the local policing force?
With the policing force, which one was this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I suppose our program is designed to help you understand how big data analytics fits into the context of business across all industries, across all sectors, again, public, private, not-for-profit. So we're, I suppose, at the one extreme you have very hardcore technical people like computer science, and we're at the other end of the spectrum where we take these technologies and help companies to understand how to get business value from these tools and techniques to achieve growth in the company, reduce costs, and achieve their strategy. Now, if you don't understand what strategy looks like or means in the real world, well, then you're going to be at a disadvantage when you're going for a job. So one module we have this year is called Information Systems, Strategy and Innovation. So we talk about how strategy fits into the business model and how the business model fits into processes that drive the company. We do, for example, design thinking as part of that module. A lot of the data science teams have a design thinker on board to help them understand the personas of the people they're creating their dashboards for. All the speakers that come in from industry, one was Gurchan Singh. He was the head of the analytics unit in the Irish Police. Over and over again, they keep saying the same thing. They're not interested in technology. They're more interested in how you get business value from this technology. So this is why it's so important that you do understand the language of business. If you're just looking for a pure technical career path, you just want to do programming, well then probably this is the right program for you, because you need to understand the context of the decisions that CEOs and senior level management actually make for you to create the dashboards that they're looking for using Tableau and Power BI and so on. But it's very important that you do understand the business.
Yeah, great. And just for the students, what would you say are the unique selling points of the program? Like in 3 words, if someone asked you about the program, what are the best things about it? What would you say from your experience or from your friends? How would they describe the program or the best things about the program? Unique.
I would say it's very relevant. So the content are not out of date. They're what employers are demanding. So it's relevant. It is in detail. And I think the lecturers are very experienced as well. So just pay attention.
Right.
I would say the course make you creative actually with all the visualization techniques and things that they teach you over here, and that's something that makes you very creative. And also, especially that role actually makes you a role player over here actually, because they're just not focusing only on business analysis stuff. They also teach you about like developing things and other things as well. So they'll actually make you a role player over here, which is very important for everyone.
I was supposed to add to that, the SAP certification I think is quite unique and it's so valuable in industry. And so you mentioned about the industry speakers in the master classes. So some of them videos or some of them industry speakers are videoed or on the website if you want to take a look. You mentioned Bill Schmarzo earlier. So they're fantastic to have a look and to I suppose get exposure to see what exactly is covered in the class. So in terms of international students, because I'm conscious that we're getting close to the time, hopefully you're all offer holders if you're listening today, and hopefully you're in the final stages of your visa application process, because I'm conscious of many years dealing with international students, how lengthy that process is. So it's all about timing, and hopefully you're already started on that application process. If not, get your application in ASAP. We understand that this year the turnaround time will be improved. We really hope it will be, because in other years students have been delayed arriving. And I suppose coming back to what we were saying earlier about hitting the ground running and maximising the 1 year intensive program, they really need to be here on time. So we'll do our best to facilitate students that arrive late, but for your own good, apply, get your application in and be prepared, make your travel arrangements and your accommodation arrangements, and keep the ball rolling from your side to make sure that you're here for those classes that start in September. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add in terms of your own visa application process. Some students have advice or kind of work with your agents. If you're dealing with an agent, they are very well experienced, and we deal with them for years in the visa application process. I don't know, is there anything else from your own experience? You had a very smooth, you might have applied early.
Yeah, I've actually applied visa through an agent, so I've actually given all the documents that he asked me to him, and he actually applied for my visa thing. And I waited for around 4 weeks, I guess, but my visa got delayed. That's because of some I don't know, maybe some technical issue at the back in India. I don't know. It just got delayed like a week, but be patient and hope for the best. You'll get your visa done now. I mean, in case if you didn't get your visa yet, that's it.
Great. So is there anything else from your experience or from friends or people, alumni that you know that have graduated the program, the success stories of where people are now or what they're doing? Or I know people on the program, as Dennis mentioned earlier, they come from a wide variety of backgrounds. This is a conversion program, so you don't need any prior knowledge in IT or in business. But they also go into a wide variety, as Dennis said, whether it be public, private, multinationals, SMEs, startups. So it is very diverse, and they're, according to market research and all the global stats, business analytics is the growth area of the future. That's why the program is so competitive every year. We get so many applications from really high caliber students So once again, congratulations on being a successful candidate this year and an offer holder, and we're really looking forward to welcoming you to this programme, and hopefully between now and then we'll be sending out some more communications, some pre-departure information to show you the links of where the timetable is, the handbook, and some arrival information around orientation, accommodation, things like that. But do feel free, as the student said, we're very approachable here in Ireland. We are quite casual and laid back, so you can, there was one question there about office hours and when can we contact. Send us an email. We're not strict on particular office hours. You can only contact us between 4 to 6 or anything like that. So reach out to us. If you have any doubts, reach out to us, reach out to the students. There's a lot of blogs online, videos, and through the WhatsApp group, through the Facebook group, things like that. You can share your information with us, with current students, and with alumni. But we're really looking forward to welcoming you, and hopefully we have another successful class and great alumni.
Very good, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.